Mr. Amanda speakers, I'm gonna be the first speaker of the opposition side of the team. In a world where tech industry are neck and neck over one and each others, the concept of merging one companies and another pops out as a new form of innovation and searching for chances. Big companies such as Tokopedia, Gojek, or Facebook and Instagram sign a contract to merge with one and another in order to gain a potential growth from both sides of the company. Huge companies such as Facebook that have been grand competitors in the markets merge themselves with smaller companies such as Instagram to open up a new market and new chances for both sides of the company, for one and another. This gives the smaller company a huge and more varieties of customer and also market to work with. And also it gives the bigger and older company to have a more developed and a more new way of thinking, and also a bigger investor. A bigger source of investor will go invest on their company. For example, with what happened with KOTA, it is clear that investors are more interested in the merger of these two companies between Gojek and Tokopedia. I have one to talk about in this motion. So the other side of things say something about destroying possible enemies of the market will limit the growth and innovation of a company. I will say no to this sentences, to these things that they say. In short term, it seems like one company get an advanced features, get an innovation in order for them to fight and win from the other companies. But it is clear that the goals of their doing this is not to just for win. It's merely to gain more customers from their market and to be more dominant from one and another. A company will be forced to keep on adapting and to give their best effort to innovate new features, whether or not there is any enemies of company in their market. Instead, with more varieties of customer they got now from the merge, they have a lot more people to please. Opening a new markets mean you need to fulfill a bigger market's needs. It means you have to innovate, and you will have to keep up with innovation in order for you to keep the customer that you gain from the other market, from the company that you merge with. And to satisfy them, that means you have to do whatever it takes to innovate and also to give them what they need. Even the word mergers itself is an innovation and a half that we never learned about before. For example, with what happened with Tokopedia and Grab, in the contract it is clear that the bigger company will earn more money from the contract itself. Even a good split such as 75 and 25, 60 and 40, or any other splits will benefit the bigger company over the others. But we have to see that a form of profit, a form of benefit doesn't just come from money. For example, for the smaller companies, what such a thing they will gain? So first of all, they will gain potential growth and for their business, because now they have more varieties of customer, and they have a bigger market to work with, and they have place to advertise their business to other place. And second of all, they can reduce the cost of developing business activities that complement the competition, because now they are working with bigger companies. They are working with more companies instead of just their own companies, and that doesn't have to use the same amount of fees that they are using before. Our goal are simply to develop a more dominant and good markets for any side that will benefit from these mergers. I have two arguments to talk about. So why is this justified? Problem that happened with Facebook and WhatsApp a couple of months of years ago have shocked the entire internet about how Facebook get their data from the personal data that got gathered from the WhatsApp users. This seems like a huge privacy problem that's bothering people up. But both sides from Facebook and WhatsApp have given the chance for their customer to read and also to know what's the policy that they are going to use in the long run. It is not on the company behalf on whether or not their customer will read this or not. They use this to be transparent, to show them what information that they will use for one another, what type of information that they will share, and for what use this information will be used. This type of deal have been used in a long term. For example, with how the shady deals that are happening in the long term, company keep their transaction of information not transparent, and in order for their customer to not be mad. And they use this data to personalize the application for your advertisement, feeds, and many other type of stuff. Before this merger concept comes in mind, this type of information change have been used just to earn money from one company and another, and they are not willing to give what happened, or to give the information from their company to their customer. But now, at least from what happened right now, we know that the data that the WhatsApp and the Facebook taking are being used just by the two of them. We know that this is not a shady deals between the two of them, because now all of the data that are going into WhatsApp are only being used by Facebook and by Facebook only, and not any other companies that we doesn't know and who they will work with. And not only that, this type of thing are already being, this type of feeds and also personalized ads have been used for a long run. For example, applications such as YouTube and Shopee have been using this type of policy even without the mergers. So this type of problem didn't really start from the merger itself. It is already a long learned theme that are already here from the first get go without any mergers from the first start. And second of all, why is merging company a good source of innovation and developing, and what benefit does we gain? It have been stated from the get-go that both sides of the merging company gain a lot of potential. Even if one side will gain more money in the contract, there will be more source of profit that will be gained from one and another side of the company itself. For example, for smaller companies, they will earn bigger markets from the bigger companies, because the bigger companies have a lot more benefit, and the bigger companies have a lot more power in their markets. And second of all, growth of sharing innovation, because now the smaller companies know what they can earn from the bigger companies. They can share information on what innovation they need for the future, how to take care of this type of customer, and what type of action they should take for them to effectively solve such a problem, instead of just waiting until the customer to complain to themselves, to the company for the problem that are happening right now. And for bigger company, what will they learn? So they will gain a huge and more beneficial benefit and salary from the contract itself, other than from the smaller company. They will earn a better oriented smaller company, instead of just them opening a new branch that they doesn't know if it will work or not. They now have a smaller company that are better oriented, that are better to work with, instead of just opening a new company. And third of all, they will become more dominant, and they will be known in more markets than how it already being used. Like for example, with Gojek and Tokopedia, some user of Gojek doesn't use Tokopedia, but some user of Tokopedia doesn't use Gojek. But with the merger itself, both sides of the team have benefit with one another. And how Tokopedia use Gojek as its primary way of sending their package to their people. There is no issue whatsoever with that company being dominant. People will say like, oh, they will monopolize the market and it will be bad. No, this type of dominant company have always been here. For example, with what happened with YouTube and Google, nobody really complains, because there is no problem that are happening in the first get go. So there is no issue that we have from one company being dominant over the other, and instead it has a lot of benefits. And that is why we as the opposition side of the team are proud to oppose this motion. Thank you.